How have the rights of those in the community with disabilities changed? Well, let's find out. In the beginning, people did not have access to modifications that would make daily life easier. For example, access to transportation. Now, there are services to make life a little easier for people with disabilities, such as special transport buses. These buses are for people who use wheelchairs and/or have other disabilities that make using public buses inaccessible to them. What are two acts related to the rights of those in the community with disabilities changed? Americans with Disability Act of 1990. This act was made to ensure the equality of people with disabilities, so they would be treated as equals in employment, state and local government, and public accommodations. This makes it necessary to not discriminate against someone just because of their disability. They should have the equal opportunity to get a job just like anyone else in any setting. Architectural Barrier Act of ABA of 1968. This act was made to make accessibility to public buildings easier for people with disabilities. This accessibility to things such as ramps, to places of education, employment, healthcare, housing, and participation in community life. This makes it mandatory to have a way for someone who is in a wheelchair to be able to get into a library to check out a book that they might have otherwise not been able to read if they did not have access to the library through the accessibility of the ramp. The rights of the disabled communities affects the people with mobility and physical impairments, spinal cord disability, head injury, brain disability, vision disability, hearing disability, cognitive or learning disability, physical disorders, and invisible disabilities. Who was a key player in this movement? Judy Heumann, a woman who has struggled with polio ever since she was an infant. Because of her disability, she struggled with being able to do the same things as children her own were able to do. It was hard keeping up with the other students when no accommodations were being made for her and she was in school. She wasn't always able to even go to school because of her disability. She believes, though, that every child has the right to an education, even with a disability such as hers. They still deserve accessibility to everything that the other children have access to, even if it takes a different way to accomplish the same things. When she went to university, she organized ways to have ramps so students with disabilities were able to have access to the school. This was not mandatory at the time, and she was making progress and fighting for something that desperately needed change. This is how she started to get involved in the cause of helping people to have access to building programs, and jobs within the community. This, of course, was not easy thing to do. She had to, at one point, file a lawsuit so she could get her teaching degree. It was so worth it, though, because she was able to do it. She was able to follow her dream and pave the way for others to be able to follow their dreams as well, never allowing a disability to hold someone back ever again. Community resources that were put in place. One-stop career. This was an organization designed to help people along with people with disabilities and might need additional help. People find jobs and get the necessary training to do that job. They even help set up interviews and get them prepared for the interview. The Special Olympics. The Special Olympics is the biggest organization that's made for intellectual disability for children and adults. There are a year-round sports training in numerous Olympic-type sports. This can help teach them how to work as a team, and it helps them practice a healthy lifestyle of eating healthy and training. It even helps them with socialization and can help them make friends that can last a lifetime. Plenty of local communities have the Olympics. There are even Special Olympics for disabled people in New York. What are careers that could be connected to people who have disabilities? Well, home health aides are workers who work with disabled individuals who need help with doing daily tasks that we take for granted. Home health aides are at the front line when it comes to giving care to people who would otherwise be in a facility and not in their home. They help people with disabilities do daily tasks such as making meals, bathing, doing dishes, taking medication, and shopping. Home health aides can also teach someone with a disability how to accomplish these tasks so they may obtain a more independent life. Home health aides usually make around $24,060 a year. There is a steady growth rate of 36%. This makes this line of work not only very necessary but also very fulfilling since they're helping people live lives at home and enjoy their life to the fullest. Recreational therapists. Recreational therapists are in charge of planning, directing, and coordinating recreational-based treatment programs for people with disabilities, injuries, or illnesses. A recreational therapist works in lots of different settings, including hospitals, nursing homes, and government parks, and rehabilitation departments. Most therapists work full-time. The salary for this occupation is around $470, $860 at a growth rate of 7%. Sign language interpreters. Sign language interpreters work in settings such as schools, hospitals, courtrooms, meeting rooms, and conference centers. Some work in universities or even clinics and doctors' offices. Many translators also work remotely. This means that a deaf person can go to a specific website, or they may have a specific device made for this. They could video call with an interpreter. They could get help if they are trying to contact somebody, such as a deaf parent trying to contact the school. They would use this website or device and be able to get the help that they need. Self-employed interpreters frequently have various work cycles. Most interpreters work full-time during regular basis business work hours. Their salary is about $52,330 per year. The job growth is 20%. This is more of a growth rate than average because this is such a need for interpreters right now, so the wages of this profession are really good right now at 25 an hour. How does this affect the community? People with disabilities enrich the communities in which they live, have impactful programs and fundraisers that gather people together to help causes that might be raising enough money to get a wheelchair or get a hearing aid for someone who is deaf or whatever it may be. It can be the whole community coming together to help somebody in their community who is disabled and who needs their community to be with them and stand with them. Did you know 1 billion people, or 15% of the world's population, experiences some sort of disability? 1/5 of the estimated global total, or between 1,100 million and 1,900 million people, experience significant disabilities. The information above explains everything needed in relation to the United States expenses that the United States pays for the accessibility to things that each individual disabled person needs in a lifetime. The chart above explains the people who are already receiving Social Security, the new people who are getting Social Security, and the percentage of adults receiving Social Security. It also shows people's age and how many people are receiving supplemental Social Security. Recovering Social Security means that you are over the age of 65 or you have a disability. Thank you so much for watching.